Good afternoon, everyone, and I hope you all are having a great Thanksgiving week, beginning of the Thanksgiving week. Uh, I'm going to take about 10 minutes, no more, to go over a little bit about what we're doing this weekend. I've gotten some questions from folks who want to know how they can get involved, and media people who want to know how to cover this, and it has grown a little bit. The Adapt-A-Thon is definitely on and going to be a lot of fun. I've got people in Orlando who are just asking a lot of questions. I thought I'd get them all out here on video first, and then I'll probably write up something this afternoon. So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, we have an Adapt-A-Thon coming up on Sunday, and we are going to be doing these. We are going to be making a ton of toys, adapting them, adding switch jacks for them, very often more than one. And we're going to be having an absolute ball. So we are doing this at the Orange County Technical College, Orange Technical College in Orlando. Let me see if I can show you guys a map. There you go. So this is in downtown or near downtown Orlando. So right here, near just north of the Florida Turnpike on John Young Parkway. In fact, we are going to be having this at a fantastic facility. Thanks to our friends Gravy, the robotics team, and our friend Steve Bowman has gotten us access to this kind of ridiculous building right here, which they call their launch site. So this is a huge building. It is actually the largest motion capture studio east of the Mississippi. And it's just a gorgeous, huge building with hundreds of video cameras that capture the room. And it should be really neat for the kids to be able to see kind of how some of that stuff is done. More importantly for us, it is a huge air-conditioned room with electricity and tables and everything we need to be able to set up a great event. And then, of course, Steve Bowman's group actually is located right in the Orange Technical College, about 3 buildings down. And they have been wonderful enough to host us. So they're going to bring down all their soldering irons and all their stuff, and we're going to have an absolute ball. Now, let me kind of walk through who this is about and what we're doing here. So we have a ton of groups joining us. We have 8 different organizations, plus the outreach group from Raytheon. So hopefully they'll be able to join us as well. But we've got our hosts are Gravy, the FRC team in Team 5816 in Orlando. They are awesome. They've been with us for the Maker Day at ATIA, and they've kind of been with us for a number of different events. They helped us with this last year. Roaring Riptide from Gainesville, from PK Young. Royal Robotics from Port Richey. Super Sevens also from Orlando, as is Exploding Bacon. Exploding Bacon, I'm excited to be working with them this year. They actually started First Like a Girl, and so we're happy about that. On that same note, we have the Women in Electrical and Computer Engineering group from University of Florida, the Building Others Through STEM group from University of Florida, and the GRIP group, the Generational Relief in Prosthetics, which is a group that adapts gaming devices for kids who need switches and things like this. Not just kids, people who need switches are sending a huge group. They're sending, like, everybody in their team is coming down from Gainesville. So it's going to be exciting. And then we did reach out to Raytheon, which is going to send a team over. They have 2 locations, Clearwater and Orlando. I'm not sure which location this group is coming from. But we're happy to have some engineers and some people with more longer experience in engineering who are going to be able to help us. So this is going to be exciting. We're going to have a huge team. We are going to have, so last year we had 35 students and, 10 older adults. This year we're going to have 100 builders, not counting our team. We're going to have 100 people there at least who want to help build this. So we're going to have quite the team. It has grown dramatically over the last few weeks. I'm really excited about it. It also means we are going to be able to do a lot more. So I had notes. These are not final numbers, but it looks like we will be making over 150 toys, 80 switches, 50 switch interfaces, 20 hand raisers, and God knows what else. We just added a brand new one I'll show you in a couple minutes here as well. So If any of you aren't certain kind of what we're doing or why we're doing it, we are adapting toys. We are taking off-the-shelf toys like the Minion you see there. Those are 2 kids last year from Bots. We're going to add jacks that allow people who use switches to control the devices, play with them. It's not just about playing. It's also step 1 on being able to control your environment. So very often kids start with toys and then they go to switch interfaces or environmental controls. They get more control over their environment. It's huge in their development. These are some of the folks we're doing this for. Now, these aren't here in Florida, but these are kids I can use their pictures of. I have their release forms, and we love them. On the left is Ella Hunt from Elkhart, Indiana. On the right is Max Lasco from Maryland. And these are kids who have spinal muscular atrophy. Not all the kids we're going to support have that, but all the kids have motor challenges. They have either multiple disabilities or gross motor challenges, cerebral palsy, lots of things where the ability to move has been compromised by a disease or an injury. And we're going to get them toys for Christmas, and step 1 on their ability or in these kids' cases, they're doing great. I'll show you a picture of Ella here in a second, but they still need toys. They still need things that they can play with and have fun, and we're happy to do this for them. This is what we're going for. I'm sure Italia is probably sick of me sharing this picture, but this is what we always want to see happen. The little girl in the power chair is Ella. She is actually using switches to control her power chair. We helped set that up so she could do that. More importantly is the person who's dancing with her or playing tag with her is Italia Field. She's a high school student who helped her do this, and I love seeing the picture because it's very rare that you get to see a high school kid playing with somebody with the kind of challenges that Ella faces, and this is what we want to get to. We want to change not only the lives of the kids who are receiving these toys. We want to get the kids in the robotics teams engaged with their community and able to experience a little bit more of their community, a little bit richer experience while they're in high school. So we are going to adapt toys. Here's some Chihuahuas. We've got a bunch of pictures over on the Facebook group if you want to see more of what we're going to do. We're going to adapt a bunch of toys, but it is not just toys. We are going to adapt. We're going to create switches. These are the switches that control those devices. Not a lot of the kids have switches that are custom made to them or that fit them perfectly, but others actually need switches in addition to needing the toys. So we make these. These are 3D printed switches. They are inexpensive and fairly easy to wire up. And this will be for the beginning solderers. They'll be working on these to learn their skills. I'll actually show you right before we finish here a new design that we'll be doing as well. We'll also be doing these. These are switch interfaces. So switch interfaces let these switches control a PC, a Mac, an Android device, things like that, so that once they're used to using switches for toys, they can use switches to control their computer, which rapidly leads to the ability to control a speech device, control environmental controls, control the world around them. The bill of materials on this, what it costs us to make is about $12, and they are not priced that way on the commercial market. We'll also be making these. These are little hand raisers. So these are devices that older kids, anybody who needs to be able to raise their hand and uses a speech device, this is a great tool. It's very inexpensive, about $10, and it allows them with their eye gaze or speech device, whether using scanning or whatever, to turn this on and get the attention of their professor or their folks around them without making it an emergency. I want to raise my hand was the original request. We've got everything to make these. These are solderless. These are just snapped together, 3D print the parts, and they work awesome. And then we'll also be doing things like the picture on the right. These are mounts that hold the switches in place and let you use normal GoPro mounts to be able to place them perfectly in folks' hands. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing. The time of this is 9 to 5 on Sunday. We are looking for, always looking for help in funding this. We have gotten very gracious gifts from Chad Lehman from Makers Making Change, Tony Griffith, a lawyer here in town, And we've gotten some floating money from lesson picks, which is awesome, so that we can buy the toys, get them done, and then collect that money from the folks who are buying them. Now, we ask the programs that we're working with, so Pinellas County Schools, Pasco County, a couple groups in Orange County. These are the folks where the kids are located. We ask them to buy the unadapted toys, and then we will adapt them, do all the work on it, and give them back at the same cost. If you buy a My Pal Scout, it will cost you $15. These will also cost them $15, even though they've been adapted. So in order to do that, it does mean we have to buy the toys ahead of time. So I'm delighted that we've been able to do that. And if you do want to get involved, let me see if I can show you where this is. Oh, you can't see my screen. I'm sorry. So if you look at atmakers.org, right on the very first page, there's a link that says latest news. And right here it says 2018 Adapt-A-Thon is coming. It's got all the details, where we're located, where it's going to happen, all the teams that are involved. We might add one more robotics team. I'm not sure. We may have one more coming out with us. And then it's also got a picture of last year, and I'll actually go ahead and play that here as well. So this is a video of last year. It is going to be much bigger. Last year, Factor was great. They're a makerspace in Orlando. They let us use their common space, and we adapted a ton of toys. We adapted 100 toys with about 35 or 40 kids, about 40 people total. This year will be bigger, and it should be a lot of fun. It is a great day. If you'd like to come out and see us, if you are in the area and want to share this with your media folks, you can always have them reach out to adapt@atmakers.org or me, bill@atmakers.org. All the contact information is at atmakers.org as well. So I'm going to look and see if we have any questions. I see, let's see. Mary Elizabeth says, will you be doing any live streaming? We will be sure to share. So I think Andy Stein, whatever Andy's last name is, will be live streaming his podcast. I will go live at least once. We did last year as well. I think I had that. Let me see. I think I have that. Yeah. So one sec. I have the walkthrough from last year right there. So yeah, last year we walked through and showed what everybody was doing. We showed the FAST team who was with us and what they were working on. And yes, we'll absolutely go live at least once or twice. I'm glad you'll share it, and it should be a lot of fun. So I do have a couple new news that I want to share just with the regular camera here. Let me turn off the image. All right, so a couple things that are kind of cool. First is this. We went and I had a conversation last night about light touch switches, and if anybody wanted to get together and work on one. Well, nobody did, but I kind of pulled an all-nighter, which is my eyes are kind of red, and went ahead and made one. So this is good. It's I would say this is a B+. One iteration on this, and we will have exactly what we need. I'm going to send it to Noah and Pedro Ruiz from Adafruit. But it's kind of neat. It is a microlight switch. It is probably currently a little bit more work, a little bit more force to activate it than the commercial microlight switches. So we'll call it light touch instead. But it's kind of neat. It is actually made. It has a built-in T-nut, or not T-nut, but a built-in camera mount on the bottom, so you can mount it easily. And it's got no screws or anything to put it together. So you just put in an MX switch. This is a standard keyboard switch. And what's nice about these is you can actually adjust the force and the clickiness by changing which switch you buy. And then you just wire that up to a standard mono cable and screw in this. It's a very easy build, and then the little tabs go in the holes, and it works pretty well. I would say, again, I would give this one a B. It is, let me see if I can get it back on there. There you go. Yeah, it just snaps in like that on that side and that. Once you get it to snap in, it's nice and simple. So I like this. We were looking for something we could have done by Sunday because we have these nice big switches, but we don't want to only have those. Lots of kids need smaller things. So this is a rush job, but it should work. And then the last thing, something that we are going to adapt last minute. Found it last night. Realized that it would be super cool for kids on in power chairs. Is this? And there's a bunch of people saw this on Ellen, which Ellen's always got cool stuff. But it's what's called Zoom tube, Zoom tube. These are tubes with a little car in it, and so I will. I've been told by a recent donor that every time I give a presentation, I have to actually have these on. So I will do so because that's what I do. I keep my donors happy. So there you go. So that is kind of awesome. Yeah, so this is one of the coolest toys we're going to adapt this year. I think it is awesome. I think it is awesome to be able to do this one. It's not going to be that hard. It's actually all in the remote. It has a little remote right here. It's not easy either. It's kind of one of our in-betweens. If you guys remember, we did the remote control for opening a garage door or a gate. It's like that. So inside of this remote, there's actually 4 little solder points that we have to attach to. We will then have to run wires out and super glue, probably run it out this side, and then super glue external jacks right here and here so we can plug things in. And then it will work right just like these 2 switches right here do. I would like to say inexpensive. It's not. It's about $30 per toy, but worth it. Absolutely worth it, especially after it's been adapted. So I will have 12 of them, and looks like my stream might have cut out there. I'm not sure why. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. If you guys would like, again, I don't have an easy way to share this except to just zoom in. If you need any more information, email us at adapt@atmakers.org or go to the contact page on atmakers.org. We will be happy to get you any information you need about this event. Didn't cut out. Didn't cut out. Okay, I'm glad to hear it didn't cut out because my screen actually showed it going blank and saying, please connect your stream. So I'm glad it didn't cut out. That's great. Jess, Mary Elizabeth, thank you for joining me. Anybody else has questions, you know where to reach me. Bye.